Hello students, in this video we cover item 5 of the book Effective Java by Joshua Bloch, Preferred Dependency Injection to Hardwiring Resources. So this pattern is something that all of you should be familiarized with. The pattern of using dependency injection. And this pattern applies when you need to create a class that needs behavior that is provided through a parameter of the class or an element of the class. And so this underlying resource is the dependency. So for example, you have a class that implements a spell checker and you need to inject a dictionary so that the spell checker can actually check the validity of words or provide suggestions when a word is misspelled, for example. Often, static utility classes are used for this purpose. Maybe in some occasions, some singletons will be used. However, these two ways of implementing are inappropriate for this purpose because, for one, they are inflexible. So if you think about the case of static classes, when you have a static member of the class, you can allow that data to change because multiple clients using that static utility class may have different requirements as far as what dictionary to use in the case of a spell checker. And you can't allow the data to change because as you change it for one client, you're changing it for all. So it's very inflexible. And also, they are virtually impossible to test. So before we proceed with the actual explanation of the pattern, which will be extremely simple, I want to explain what is a hardwired resources. And so for that, I'm using the math class from Java. And as you can see here, this class contains multiple constants. And so these values are not they're not passed to a constructor, so you can see the constructor is private. These are hardwired resources. They're just like hard-coded. And so hardwired resources, basically, that is something that is just kind of hard-coded into the class. And so when you have constants, it makes sense that you want to do hardwiring resources because, for example, in this case, the value of pi will never change. So this is a known fact. This is not going to change ever. However, something like a dictionary, it will be kind of ludicrous to believe that this dictionary that you're providing or that you're hardwiring into the spell checker will never change. And as such, when you have this underlying behavior that potentially can change, then the best thing to do is to be able to inject the dependency rather than to have it hardwired into the class. And so the pattern, as I mentioned, is something that all of you have seen before. This is nothing new. And so here I have the spell checker class, and the spell checker class uses a dictionary. And in this case, the dictionary is being injected through the constructor. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, the dictionary could never change because it's final. And that is true. So when you call the constructor, that instance will have a dictionary that will never change. But as a requirement through the life of the application changes and you need to create a spell checker with a new dictionary, you can create new instances. And as we discussed before with the case of immutability, thread safety is one of the main benefits, which means that these objects can be passed around freely without the fear of inadvertently change the internals of the class. And so this is basically what this item 5 covers in the book. You basically pass the dependency to the constructor. I will say that making the dependency file or be able to or keeping it from mutating may be a preference. I prefer to go for immutability. I will say that even though in this chapter they're emphasizing the importance of immutability, is not like a must. However, there are consequences for that you have to be aware. For example, thread safety. So DI or dependency injection is equally applicable to constructors that we can see here, but you can also have static factories and builders where you can inject a dependency, and we have shown that in previous videos with particularly with the builder pattern. One word of caution before I finish this video tonight is that dependency injection can clutter large projects due to their many dependencies, but you may already know this. To manage dependencies when you have large projects on that scale, then the best thing to do is to use an actual dependency injection framework such as Guice or Spring. And with that, I'm going to conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Coming next will be my take on the next two items, 6 and 7, which are also very simple and have to do with cleaning up and destroying objects. I hope you stick around, give me some feedback on the contents of this video and also suggestions for future topics. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you next time, and don't forget to subscribe.